And this family from the UK came, 2 kids. Max was the older kid, 14. And they were coming to go on the ski boat. And they saw the swim birds and they gravitated towards the boards. And Gareth spent an hour with them on the boards. They came out of the water and said, "Mom, can I have one for my birthday?" And we said, "Well, we can't sell them yet. They're coming soon." So the mom texted me later that evening, said, "Can you come to Zen Beach for Max's birthday on Sunday and bring the boards?" So we went to Zen Beach for his birthday party. His dad, who was an investment banker in London, and the whole family went for a swim. And we came out and he said, "I'd like to invest and I'm your first customer."
That is the famous Cave of Swimmers. It's 10,000 years old. It's so old it now sits at 1,000 feet above sea level in the middle of the Sahara Desert. The reason I show that is to show you can see them swimming. It's the first prehistoric depiction of human beings swimming. It goes to show how far back our love of the water goes. If you understand that, you understand where we're going. Let's begin at the beginning. We realized there was a huge market for a product in which human beings could explore the waters safely and have a great deal of fun without anxiety, and which everyone could explore the water anywhere. We did the market analysis and realized that if we achieved that, there would be a huge amount of profit in such a product. We decided to start making these boards, and so began a journey that I'm going to take you through very quickly. We had no idea how difficult it would be to make this board. We actually commandeered our own bedrooms, and we had 1-bedroom apartments, and we started trying to make boards, even though, of course, we knew absolutely nothing about making boards. We crafted, we worked. This one here, this is the first one. It took us about a month. Matthew and I were working on it, learning how to shape the foam, destroying our apartment, my apartment, and learning how to fiberglass. And after a period of time, we came up with the very first, at that time, called Zambezi board. And that's it right there. There's the 3 brothers, full of optimism, thinking that they're about to bust through into the big leagues. Took it to Spanish Banks in Vancouver, and it was, of course, a complete fail. An absolute fail. And only then did we grasp with horror at that time just how difficult making a product that the human being could actually swim on would be. And this is because when we're swimming, it's an incredibly complex operation. Basically, the body is twisting and torquing. It's a very sophisticated thing. That's why most boards, no other board works, and why it's taken so long to get to this point. And so, after an icy night of recalibrating, we headed down the rabbit hole, and we started making all sorts of crazy boards. We got quite manic. We called them the fish boards, desperately trying to figure out how to make this swimmable product. Each one of these boards took, on average, a month to make. And then each one of them in turn was an abject failure. But we learned something from this. Matthew's sanding one of the fish boards. We learned a little bit from each one, and so it began to become more refined. We realized that the curvature of the rocker, that's the curve of the board, was key to the whole thing, key to allowing the board to pivot. This is our first attempt at shaping foam. I don't know how many sheets of foam, I've lost count. And so the board began to progress into something that looks more like a board. You can see the mess there. And now we moved over to Matthew, and now we had on the right what's called the first working board. One on the right, the black and white one. We call it the motherboard. It was the first one on which a degree of swimmability began to emerge. And from that, we made a better version. We were getting better at making these boards, not at fiberglass, however. And so back to Home Depot, more foam, and so it continued. And now you can start to see a progression, both in the mess. This is now Matthew's apartment being destroyed, but you can see the back of the board is starting to become bigger and bigger. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is key. Now it's getting big. Look at the mess. these were dim days in terms of livability, but you can see a board in which the displacement is moving to the back, and you can see how thick the sheets of foam are starting to become. This is key, and the reason why it became so patentable at the end of this process. There, now you see 3 different versions of the same principle. They were all handmade and, of course, very difficult to duplicate, but you can start to see the big girth and the bigger keel starting to happen. And now there were 4 of them. And ladies and gentlemen, it is a synthesis of these 4 that led to the first pre-production board. And believe it or not, these are the boards that our first dear angel investors came in on. It's almost unbelievable now, but they saw in these that there was something there. And so they funded the first little step in which we launched the patents, all that kind of thing, and began to move forward. We tested the boards extensively. This is in Lynn Creek. Hairy. I don't know what we were thinking, but you can see these boards now in real world applications. Windstorms in English Bay. Notice the long nose is still there. That's Seawash Rock. Seawash Rock. Very rough conditions, intentionally. Rivers on Vancouver Island, that's the Taylor River. Remote locations. Very rough conditions. Now we had to duplicate and start making our first plastic board. Now we decided to start making molds. Now the mess turned to Gareth's department. We started to test the idea of making the boards out of plastic, because now we were thinking about that fiberglass would be too prohibitive labor-wise. We wanted a board that we can deliver to you and to the world affordably and at high speed. And so these were the first little homemade test molds, from which came the first bottom in plastic of a board. And this, ladies and gentlemen, was an absolute triumph. We couldn't believe our eyes that we'd actually made it. And there's this bottom that we used to audition for Dragon's Den. We didn't even have the full board. We had to always keep the board facing out. That's us on the boarding the ferry to Victoria to audition. And believe it or not, they said yes. You can come on Dragon's Den with half a board. Now our investors came in, our angels came in for more. And we began to make the first proper molds. This is that wash plastic. You can see the improvements that would lead to the first factory-produced boards. Of course, it had to be adjusted. There's yours truly. Fortunately, the mess is now at Walsh Plastics, messing up their place, not ours. And from that came the first proper boards. This is after Dragon's Den. You still see the long nose, but ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the strange top surface, that is effectively very much what the new board is. Focus on that. That is key. These were the first ones. These ones were made. They went to Hawaii, or some, and of course they went to Greece. That's what they started to look like. So now we're starting to have a plastic product that is highly, highly usable and being loved by so many people. The power of the boards was phenomenal. This is with Lifeguard Hellas in Greece. Look at the torque. That's one of their top lifeguards. Look at the power. But you notice again the long nose bow, because we had so compensated for the board nose diving that it was still there. At this point, our dear friends at Zimtu, with whom I was involved, obviously Dave, began to become very involved with the story, and many of you shareholders began to know all about this. And of course, my former boss, the mighty Chris Grove of Commerce Resources, was very good at giving his right-hand man lots of time as needed to flesh this out, and we will always be appreciative of that. But these boards now began to make an impact. And we actually gave 6 of them to Lifeguard Hellas to practice different drills and use in lifeguarding triathlons, etc. That's them there. Those boards are still actually there. They'll be replaced by the new ones. And from this came the new boards. And we did an OEM deal with Tahi, and the shareholders had now come in with financing, and we had the money and the ability to perfect the board. And ladies and gentlemen, the board is optimal. There on the left, grinning triumphantly, is Mike Hodge, who was very much involved in this process. These were tested in secret out at Belcarra. But that is now with a polyurea coating, which was high strength. So these are pre-production boards, and they became these boards, beautifully coated. These are the boards that went to Greece, identical to the production boards. They're still there, except for the 2 that are in Switzerland, as Stefan Wagner alluded to. That's what they look like. The deckling, the future deckling, will tend to err to the look on the left, the performance look. We did 2 different looks to test the reaction. And of course, the board is an absolute performance triumph, allowing unparalleled aquaticness, swimmability, fun. We've arrived. We are now here. stock is now listed, and we are now poised to go back to Athens with production boards. And now I would like to move on to sharing the PowerPoint, if I may.
Yeah.
So the ticker symbol is SWM, which of course is remarkably appropriate. I think you'll all agree. The disclaimers. It's a brand new board, it's a brand new sport, and it's a brand new brand. That is so important. If they love the sport, they will begin to treat it as a brand and with everything that goes with it. Our share structure, our dream team, which we are very happy to have. Now the team in Athens, Fania Zaglakuti, key player in helping us create everything you're about to see, 20-year lifeguard veteran, fantastic with people, fantastic with kids, one of our team, and very athletic, as you can see there. And of course, the mighty Alex Topsoglu. You will see a lot more of him coming up. We are so privileged to have Alex involved with us. He is a rare breed of person and is going to be central to advancing this product in Greece in the years ahead. Now I would like to show you a little teaser just to get things started. So basically, I want to let you know that the main focus is going to be on the Athens Riviera, as you all know. The reason for that is that we have already made an impact there, and we have a huge amount of alliances there. And we also have our team and our boards there. This area is a bottleneck for tourism coming into Greece. It also has a massive residential city, obviously, that can become involved with the boards. We are focusing on the resorts that are up and down this area, which we will introduce you to some. There are 18 boards there that were here all of last summer, and you can see them there on famous Zen Beach. The impact of these boards, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely unmistakable. And all ages, this is the key thing, all ages from young to old. There's a board for everybody. And here we see real people in the water, in the Athens Riviera, clearly having a fantastic time. And this is just some of them. The hotels and resorts are excited because the practicality and desirability of the product is small. It's easier for their staff to move around. All of their guests can use it. I don't have to tell you that a lot of these water toys and water products are inaccessible to most people. They can't surf, they can't sup. And importantly, the whole family is not going to do it. If the whole family is not going to do it, then the adults won't do it. The goal is to have a product that everyone can use. And here we can see, this is one of our allies, Divani Apollon Hotel, very, very high end and part obviously of a chain, very influential. There's Gareth with Dimitri, the top guy there. You can see the practicality of SWMBRD versus the other products that they're renting and using on the beach out there. They have 6 there right now, and the boat trips and things that you're going to see later are done in conjunction with them. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move on so we don't have to break away, but there'll be a couple of videos I'll show you later. But for now, let's move straight to where we're at. These are the mass production molds. They are, yeah, you can see one partially through the process. Very expensive and capable of producing tens and tens of thousands of boards. The first test pull from this mold will happen in late March. At that point, they will get 50 boards that will go to Athens for quality testing. They'll be used extensively, and they'll be used to get pre-sales from the resorts, if that makes sense. We are hoping to have additional 2 sizes by 2023. We're going to cater to all ages for the product. The intellectual property is enormous. We have focused from the beginning on securing patents. That has now actually gone up to 30 design patents granted. we have trademark approvals underway. It's the intellectual property gives us the ability to control the branding and for an initial period to actually control the sport. This is important when you consider that Billabong and Quicksilver and big surfing brands, they don't control surfing. And most sports are not actually controlled at all by the brands that profit from them. But SWMBRD and the sport of swimboarding are one thing currently. And that gives us an enormous advantage. There you can see the price and size comparison. I mean, it's almost a no-brainer. The one is easy to own, easy to transport, and the other is not. The price is accessible. That's in euros because we're producing in euros. Obviously, there you're looking at a board that's about 700 Canadian. But when you compare that to paddleboards, and many of you already know what a quality paddleboard will cost in Canada, the price differential is massive, meaning because it's less expensive and easier to store and smaller, it's conceivable for the parents to buy the boards for the entire family. And as Canadians, we understand what that means. Going to the cottage, etc., moving the boards around, going to the lake. It's the practicality of ownership is huge. And this PowerPoint is accessible to everyone. There's similarity to all these already popular sports: running, cycling, skating, swimming, scuba. You can learn it in under 10 minutes. As Stefan Wagner says, there's a fitness component. So there, first couple of times you will feel it, which is what people want. It's a workout. But the learning curve to get going is so fast. And the goal is, of course, is to get you off the beach and out in the water. You're on vacation. You don't want to have to go through some whole certification process. Hop on it and go. Ease of ownership. In the pictures that is the product that's designed for the modern world. And now something else I'd like to point out, ladies and gentlemen, is you can start to see the branding side emerging in these pictures. These are all team members in Athens, but you can start to see the branding. Swimboarding is swimming. It's just swimming on a board. But the natural action of it, you can see in these pictures, it's swimming. And swimming is huge. I won't belabor the point. I think many of you intuitively will know the truth of what I'm saying. It's the second most popular recreational sport activity in the world after going for a walk. When we say swimming, we're talking about formal swimming and also just playing in the water. Those numbers that you see there, those massive numbers, that is for formal swimming. The numbers of people who are just going for a swim at the lake, of course, dwarfs even that. In other words, we have a massive market. And because of the swimmability of the board, you have all of these crossovers, not hypothetical crossovers, but real crossovers, like water polo. Throwing this board around became a very, very fun thing to do all through the summer in Athens. It just happens. Snorkeling, we discussed this before. That's a no-brainer. And of course, triathlon, we've already had interest from people who are doing swim run / triathlon events in Canada in terms of building this into the future sporting offerings. And of course, the sheer nimbleness and acrobaticness of the board is stunning. People just invent new things to do all the time. Swimming upside down. This guy's name is Costas. He invented what's called the Costas roll, where he actually does a forward somersault 360 over the board. It's phenomenal. And of course, aquatic fitness. I'll show you a video at the end of this of just what a workout this can be. It's a whole new frontier. It really is going to unlock human imagination, because what it does is it takes away the fatigue and anxiety of being in the water but still frees up the ability to swim. It's what people have been waiting for all this time, and it's social. Fitness, fun, and friends. Look how close together they're swimming, just talking. Very hard to do that on a SUP or in a kayak, just because of the paddles and the risk of hurting each other. The closeness, people are social. And of course, I would strongly encourage you all to look at the market data. It's absolutely off the charts. You're looking at outdoor recreation. It's bigger than oil and gas and mining combined. It's massive. It's a massive market. The branded clothing and accessories. Here you start, that's the lovely Nectaria modeling. But you can see bathing suits, right? It just goes on and on. We said it before, Billabong and Quicksilver don't make surfboards. Speedo does not own swimming. SWMBRD is the only lifestyle brand that controls the product and the sport on which the lifestyle is based. And if you let your mind run with that, you can see the kind of dollars that will equal to in the long run. Swimwear alone, 492.6 million. Everyone owns a bathing suit. Athleisure. Lululemon doesn't own yoga or subs, but they've branded themselves that way. Athleisure is as much a component of SWMBRD as anyone else, and some would say more. Our social media and marketing is going to be massive. We are currently in discussions with various people who were looking after that for us. We're going to be focusing very much on the usuals, but going heavily into TikTok. The goal is to bring a young consumer and a young investor to both the company, the product, and the stock. There's a huge appetite in the younger generations for investing. And by focusing on TikTok heavily, we're going to access a lot of them and bring them to us. It's a very visual brand. Think travel, think Sports Illustrated. These are all angles and the directions in which the company can branch out. SWMBRD is going to be, it's going to be people's dream vacation. And there will be publications and photography that go with it. We are going to bring in top-notch photographers for everything that we do going forward. To summarize what's going to happen next, we're right back in the Athens Riviera. We will also be branching out to Mykonos and Corfu. We have certain introductions that have happened in Mykonos. Mykonos is currently one of the it places in the world. You know, the it place moves around, but right now Mykonos is definitely one of the biggest. The prices, of course, are very high, very difficult to get there, but highly influential demographic. And we already have parties who are working to get us in there. Looking for a deeper dive? Well, you can get our prospectus. It's actually a fun to read prospectus, believe it or not. And if you are interested, I would certainly encourage you to go on CEDAR and download it, or of course you can email us and we'll send you the whole thing directly. And once again, there's our contact info, which we'll provide, and I very much look forward to speaking with all of you. I think just to shareholders know that we are very accessible. All three of our phone numbers are there. Please don't hesitate to get in touch. For now, I'm going to stop prior to showing the videos, just to give everyone a bit of a break from my voice, and to see if anyone has any comments or questions or something that they'd like to add. Perhaps Matthew, would you like to add something before we show the videos?
Yeah, no, I mean, the big thing is, and good job, Justin. Colton can edit out all those gaps for the videos not showing in his fancy footwork. Yeah, my biggest thing is that we really bring in a product that can create a lot of joy and freedom to people's lives. A lot of people have an anxiety about the water. A lot of people are scared, or they feel like they're not in good enough shape to do these sports. So a big thing for us, a big part of the motivation for us going through the struggles of destroying bedrooms, that we knew that we could make money and we could also create a great lifestyle for people and bring a lot of joy. So our team in Athens is really, really authentic, really passionate, really kind. And we started to put all the necessary pieces of a great company in place. And that's going to be based on, obviously, kindness, morality, ethics, and obviously passion and drive. So I'm really excited about where we're going. Thanks, Jess.
Gareth is actually in the Zimtu boardroom. Gareth, do you want to add anything at this point?
I agree with what you said. Another thing too is there's a lot of guys I know who are great athletes. They ski, they play hockey, but they're not necessarily great swimmers. So with the board, it kind of takes that athleticism and gives them a way to influence themselves in the water. So there's a huge change from how people perceive the water. Like I used to go on hikes and with my ex, and I wasn't really a big hiker, but the second I could bring my board with me and the hike ended at a lake, it opened up that whole world. So the board really changes the way you see the world. Not to sound corny, but for me it does. Like it changes how I see the entire world.
Anyways, folks, while you're thinking of any questions that you might have, just let me take this opportunity to introduce a couple of the newest Zimtu staff who you may receive a phone call from, or you may call the office and they may answer. So I thought you should know who they are. And first of all, and in order to get the owl to show your face, you'll have to say something. So if you could introduce yourself, Adam.
Hey guys, I'm Adam. Just started here at Zimtu doing IR. You guys have probably received a phone call from me a few times. Hopefully it was a good one. And yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Dawson.
I'm Dawson. I'm the newest member of Zimtu here. I'm working IR, and same here. If you received a call from me, hope it's a good call too. And I look forward to talking to you guys in the future and building some relationships.
Hey guys, I'm Alex Ifoglu. I'm a fitness instructor. Welcome to beautiful Greece. This is a swimming board right next to me, which is made by SWMBRD. It's a brand new, innovative board that you can swim on it. You can have great adventures with your friends, and also you can have awesome exercises. And now, let's see how you get on the board. You want to grab the board from the side and hop on it like that. Place your hand at the front and try to keep the upper body as high as possible. Once you get comfortable with that, try to move your feet and move forward. Just like that. All right, now let's go and see the basic swimming styles. Like freestyle. Now let's try the breaststroke. And last but not least, the butterfly. Let's go. And don't forget, it's supposed to be fun. See you on the water.
All right. Now they're just, we obviously have a few minutes left. There are two more videos that I want to show you that are all relevant to investors. The next video that I want to show you is purely focused on the exercise. Matthew and Gareth in particular spent an enormous amount of time working with Alex on the initial stages. And Alex, the guy you see there, has developed it now into a comprehensive workout regime. You only need to look at similar products that have come onto the market, similar workout systems, to realize what the market potential is. Aquatic fitness is already a $500 million business in the US alone. COVID has had a profound effect on how people exercise. The next video, you're going to see Alex, you're an introduction to the kind of things you're going to see coming. So I'm going to share the screen again.
So let's start from the basics. How we get on the board correctly, right? We want to make sure that the lowest part of our abs is on the side of the board. Let's try. We go up. We want to place our hands at the front. All right. Let's try some push-ups on the board. Go up, slowly down, up, slowly down. It's great exercise for our triceps, our chest, like normal cruises, right? Up and down. Okay, let's make it more challenging, all right?
There you are, ladies and gentlemen. There are obviously more videos to be seen on our website showing the board in real life in Athens. I think we are at a time right now. So once again, before I hand back to Dave, I would like to thank all of you for attending. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube or who will see it on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn, please reach out to me. I'd love to tell you more one-to-one when you have time. Thanks, everyone. Over to you, Dave.
Thanks, Justin. And just sort of to wrap things up a little bit, let me suggest what the opportunity for new investors or old investors in SWMBRD, where the real opportunity is. And the opportunity is now. This is the very beginning. They've only been up and trading for a week or so. So the stock is still trying to find where its real level should be, but in here somewhere will be the big opportunity. And as Justin mentioned, it is listed on the CSE under the symbol SWM, and hope to see you all on the bid. Do we have another question here?
Yeah, we have a question here from Fran. What's been the interest in the 15 birds that are in Greece? You're muted.
Yep.
I can maybe answer that for you, Fran.
Yeah, you go ahead, Matt.
It was almost overwhelming. I'll tell you one quick story, but we're short on time. At the rental outlets in Athens, they have lots of different toys. They also have a speedboat that pulls this tube around where the kids sit in the tube and they fly around, and it's kind of wavy and fun. So we were at the Davani Apollon with our boards talking to the guys that rented Dimitris, and this family from the UK came, 2 kids. Max was the older kid, 14, and they were coming to go on the ski boat, and they saw the SWMBRDs, and they gravitated towards the boards, and Gareth spent an hour with them on the boards. They came out of the water and said, "Mom, can I have one for my birthday?" And we said, "Well, we can't sell them yet, but they're coming soon." So the mom texted me later that evening, said, "Can you come to Zen Beach for Max's birthday on Sunday and bring the boards?" So we went to Zen Beach for his birthday party. His dad, who was an investment banker in London, and the whole family went for a swim. And we came out and he said, "I'd like to invest, and I'm your first customer." So that happened constantly in Athens, if that answers your question, Fran.
Kenneth, did you have a question there as well?
Hello?
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Justin, I just wanted to remind you that originally there was a window on the front of the board for being able to see under the water, and that. I was wondering if that feature could be in a particular model for more senior people who could just use it to lie on and be able to observe the underwater area from the board.
Well, Ken, to answer your question, and thank you for that, because others have expressed that the windows in the front of the previous boat were actually to see through the bow. Remember that we were obsessed. You saw the conditions we were testing the boards in, right? We had a vision more of a search and rescue kind of like hardcore. Like we wanted that high bow for all the reasons, and not to nose that. The windows were actually to see through. Yes, you could prop it down, you could gaze through, but the way that you do that on the new board, and you can still do this. You'd have your goggles, your snorkel goggles. You see them duck diving there? Do you see them when they're doing the duck dives? It is so easy to simply tilt yourself forward with your goggles on your snorkel and look down and just bob, just like a duck. Or we call it learning to fly. You'd be surprised how much support you actually get by simply holding the ball with one hand off to the side. It's amazing. It took me a while to, I still haven't figured out why that happens. But if you're just floating there, face down, with one hand on the board, you feel completely supported. It's actually easier with the shorter nose board. You can crocodile swim behind it. You can swim the board backwards. If it's something that you want to do, I think you will have no difficulty achieving exactly what you said there on the new board, and easier to use.
Yeah, I wasn't asking for a longer board or anything like that, like you had before. What I was suggesting is that there would be some way that there could be a viewing area straight in front of you at the front end of the board, so that you could just put your head down and look under the water. For those people who aren't as athletic as the younger people, they like to just sort of float around on the surface and observe the underwater marine life and all that.
It would, engineering wise, it is possible, and it is conceivable that there may be such custom boards in the future. I don't want to disallow them. It's just the cost. It's the cost and the structural integrity. We've had windows in the boards before, and we don't want the shell. Right now, this shell has no penetration in it. That is a very important point. This board has no penetration of the shell. I have to be careful what I say here, but of course, I'm borrowing some meteor from Mars. The thing is unsinkable. It's got foam in it's fully foam core and super strong shell. And even if you were to rupture it, it still wouldn't sink. But the second you start cutting into it, you compromise that. Having said that, Ken, there may certainly be a market for custom boards at resorts that have a glass bottom at the bottom of the compartment. That is entirely.
Just a suggestion.
Yep, for sure.
As another market. That's all.
Oh yeah. It's because the board is actually two molds, foam core, and then the one that makes the shell. There is a very interesting component of custom boards that we're discussing with certain parties, especially the surf crowd, right? Bear in mind, this board is focused on the flat water because that's where the money's at. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a rocket on the waves. We come from a surf town. This is on a wave, the board's a rocket. So there will definitely be an application that surfers take it to that surfing community embraced it. And for them, we will have just what's called the foam blank, that they will have the ability to custom fiberglass. And Ken, out of that, you may get resort boards that are customized for that. I hope it answers somewhat your question.
Yeah, the other question is, do you have an idea of what the ROI is on that?
In terms of the profitability in the board?
Yes.
We're looking to make at this point here about $200 a board, if not more.
Okay.
You know, we're playing with that. We have not decided what the final selling price will be, Ken, for two reasons. First of all, we currently have the out of the factory price of 228 euros per board in the box. There will be some twiddling and tweaking of that. And obviously, as volumes go up, that will come down. We want to have a premium product that is priced accordingly, but we want to have a product that is accessible to the maximum number of people. So if it works out that we make a little bit less per board, I'm sure you'll agree. If we can there's a little sweet spots price-wise that we're trying to get to where the most people can have an absolute no-brainer yes and grab it. Yeah. We will know more about that in the middle of this year once those first boards are actually coming off the line and the actual first transactions are taking place.
You need to keep in mind that the first objective here is not profitability. The first objective is world dominance. That's where we're going. SWMBRD is going to create this whole new category that it dominates. That is going to put us in a position of profitability. But first of all, we need to take over the world. And maybe I shouldn't be saying this considering what Putin's doing at the moment, but we're going to do this by friendly means.
So I just want to move on to the next question from Max. Can the board be pulled by a boat like a tube?
Gareth, do you want to answer that, Gareth?
Of course, there's going to be a leash plug in the front of the new boards. So I'm sure they're going to figure out ways how they can climb on and yank people around the bay.
There'll be different attachments and accessories as well that people can plug in there as well.
Yeah, I can add a bit that.
Yeah, go ahead.
The leash plug, I should have mentioned that, the boards will all come with a leash and leash plug. This leash plug is 300-pound load-bearing capacity. So is it capable of? Yeah, absolutely. What we would advocate, obviously, is a better way of people holding onto the board, almost like they wake surf right now. The implications for the board are endless. And there's a wonderful question here from Marv, which I wonder if Gareth can answer that question from Marv. Do you see it in the chat, Gareth?
It must have been directly to you. Can you read it?
I can start in. This is from Marv. Justin, Gareth was mentioning it down the road. Oh, for me, with competitions, races, and perhaps a peloton type app, so people around the globe can compete with each other. Absolutely.
There you go.
Marv, you want to go for that, Gareth? Answer that.
No, absolutely. Like we're a technology company as well. Down the road, we're going to have apps where you can swim with people in Hawaii, and I'm in Greece, and we can share routes and all kinds of competitions, races. There's a whole thing, snowboarding, but we're just at the very beginning. So we're going to build all these things out, and hopefully get to show those boys in Hawaii in April, March.
Yes, I think credit should also go to Frank Godu, who was talking about the app, future app a long time ago. It is so much bigger than the product. We live in a highly technological world. The competitive aspect, we stay a little bit away from this because right now it's family fun in the sun. But ladies and gentlemen, it's obvious you have a highly competitive sport, whether it be on 100-meter sprints, whether it be marathons, whether it be high impact water polo, rough and tumble, NHL hockey meets the water. Like it's the athleticism of the board is phenomenal. And if you think Sports Illustrated, what's the one thing that's unappealing about water polo? You can't see anything. You see guys in pretty much 90% of the way towards drowning. If you've ever played the sport, it's mostly drowning most of the time. But on a board, that athleticism is visible to all to see. The photographic aspects. I mean, ask Matthew. I think I could go on about how all you got to do is throw a ball out there and people start swimming around, throwing the ball to each other. It's phenomenal.
It's like all sports. I think surfing is now in the Olympic Games. And I think paddleboarding just got into the Olympic Games. So I think we're more fun and more competitive than paddleboarding. So could we be in the Olympic Games? Sure, we can.
Fran, go ahead with your question there.
It's not a question. It's a reference to what Justin was just saying about the technology of SWMBRD. I'm working on attaching the SWMBRD to the swimmer, and they have an Apple Watch and they have Apple Fitness applications that will track their use of the board passively without their doing anything, and will calculate how they are ranking compared to other people with smart birds.
I'm going to use that one, Fran. I'm using that one. I never been called smart bird before, but now I am.
Matthew, there's a reason for that.
Sorry, Dave, you're muted. Well, I muted you.
Oh, well.
If anybody had any other questions, feel free to write them in the chat or raise your hand like Fran and Kenneth did. And we'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, obviously, this meeting is recorded. We'll post it on our YouTube and send it out to you on an email as well. So send it along to your friends if they're interested.
First buy some stock, then send the recorded version to your friends. That's how the big boys do it.